Okay. Hi, everyone. Let's start. So my name is Toms Knostenbergs, and today I want to talk to you about one interesting topic, where we are at MSIX and what's happening with MSI. And I want to start with this picture. Microsoft says that MSIX is created using existing Microsoft technology. And right now it consists with the best features from all these other installers you see here. But is it really truth? And what is right now working as they state of it? So I went into and investigate, and today I want to talk about you mainly 4 topics. Why should we talk about this topic right now? Why it's so important? I want to answer as well on some questions where this technology is right now, and how did we get here? As well, what would be needed for MSIX to succeed? So why you would believe me? Who am I? And I'm co-founder of Master Packager software that is built to make you a master packager. I have myself been an application packager for more than 6 years. Created more than 4,000 application packages. So I have seen it all. And currently, we created courses, Become a Master Packager, to share this knowledge to rest of you who want to learn all of that. As an independent software vendors, we ask ourselves this question: should we convert our MSI installer to MSIX? We have MSIX support in Master Packager, so we know what it takes to actually implement the support and what it takes to repackage existing applications to MSIX format, and what is the struggle to do that. So the main question: why should we talk about MSIX right now? Why I choose to talk about MSIX instead of Master Packager software? And the main reason is misinformation. I talk with a lot of customers every day, and I got these questions about MSIX that they want to go to and use in their environment, MSIX. And when I ask them a question, are you aware of this limitation? Are you aware that this may not work? And I see that not everyone knows this. So I wanted to share and save your time. And the most affected are developers and IT professionals. And what I mean by that is stories like this. In top you can see development team saying that they reverted back from MSIX to MSI format because of blocking issues they had. So they spent time going and trying MSIX but couldn't see future on it, at least for now. And for enterprise, you see I have talked just 2 weeks ago with application packager from a really large enterprise where they tried to repackage every application to MSIX format. And this is one of the stories I heard. They got requests from business to create a simple shortcut package. Just a package that installs a shortcut and launch Microsoft Edge with argument. With Master Packager software, for example, using MSI, you can do it in 1 minute. With MSIX, it looks like something like this. Application Packager created custom exe that then calls a custom PowerShell script, where this PowerShell script then calls Microsoft Edge exe with arguments. And this is how they delivered this package in as MSIX. And I ask simple question: why are you doing this? What are the benefits? How do you see it? And he said it's more secure. Okay, how exactly? And I didn't get the answer. So where this MSIX technology is right now? And I wanted to know how many vendors are actually delivering their software in MSIX format. And I asked in Twitter for my bubble, have you seen any MSIX packages to be delivered directly from vendor? And I got like 20 different applications that are delivered as MSIX, and you can see a couple of them here listed. But then I was pointed out to one better solution. Go and find in Windows Package Manager how many of them are really delivered as MSIX format. With simple script, we were able to filter out unique applications that there are 3,300, and out of them only 35 were delivered as MSIX. So really small amount of them are delivered as MSIX. So why? I tried to answer these questions, and I tried to dig deeper a bit and took one of the examples you can see here, VLC. VLC is available in Microsoft Store. And turns out there are two versions. One version is actually Win32 installer, so MSI or EXE, and it works great. But there's another one, and looks like custom-made from VLC, UWP application. You see simple design, different from legacy VLC. And read the description there. Vendor says, be aware, some functionality will not work. So there are limitations, and end users need to be aware of it. Another application I was pointed out is delivered as MSIX. But the only thing what I were able to find was EXE. But turns out when I opened this EXE, there are a bunch of different installers. Like you see 3 AppManagEvent packages and 2 scripts, BAT and PowerShell script. Why? Let's open up them. When we open up the BAT script, you can see that vendors is actually calling it first and adding some registries for some reason, and then calls PowerShell script, which then actually installs the AppManagEvent packages for all the users using this command line there. So they are really sticking up with existing installers to install AppManagEvent right now. Then I was pointed out Microsoft PowerToys actually using MSIX as well. But when I looked up, I couldn't find the MSIX. Only thing I was able to find was EXE. And looking into release notes, it was mentioned that Microsoft actually tried the MSIX, but then reverted back to MSI. And the reasons were a couple of blocking issues. And I wanted to find out which are these exact issues that they were stuck in, so I can share with the community, for example. But I really didn't get the answer from the team. Just 2 years later, Microsoft showed this, that they are still removing that code of MSIX installer. So they switched from MSIX to MSI 2 years back. But why I was told that MSIX, Microsoft PowerToys is delivered as MSIX? Because turns out PowerToys is packaged as EXE, and inside the EXE you can see MSI, some dependency EXE, and CMD script for some reason. When I look into it, I see the MSIX package being installed with MSI, but not like you would think. It is installed with MSI file table, and it's installing only the file itself, not the MSIX package. So I got curious. Why do you need MSIX package there? And turns out it's because of the Windows 11 context menu. This power name. There is really no other good way how to get this context menu. You know that for rest of the context menus are hidden under show more options, and it's really taking double of time to open it. So vendors are doing these kind of, I would call, hacks to get this working. But then the question remains: how did Microsoft install this MSIX package? As a Microsoft Power Toys is on open source, we can see all the code. And we looked into it and found out that MSIX is actually installed with the main Power Toys binaries, so the main executable. And you really cannot do anything to stop preventing installing if you would want to. So as we know, enterprises want to control installers. However, if vendors are delivering applications and installing with binaries like this, then nothing we can really do. So I believe the main reasons why the adoption is not so wide with MSIX is because of MSIX limitations. And there are coupled ones that is really not supported. Drivers, Office add-ins, modifications to Windows system, and as well there are no option to pass parameters to MSI package itself. There are few ones that are fixable, but it's dependent on Windows operating system or tool you are using, or even PSF. I will not go deep in each of these limitations. However, there is another issue as Microsoft do not list all of these limitations in one place in their documentation. For that reason, we wanted to help, and we tried to gather all the limitations in one place. And you can find this in our website, where we try to list them and compare, and as well show exactly how you can find it in your package. There is a limitation. To fix these limitations, Microsoft came up with package support framework. And look at this image. This image shows how frequently Microsoft actually do updates to this open source framework. And as you can see here, it's been like 2 years and nothing has been updated, except for a few weeks ago. You can see small updates there, but nothing announced yet. Maybe today Microsoft will share some news there. But yeah, this PowerShell, this package support framework hasn't been updated, and vendors tried to create their own fix-ups. Even Tim Mangan created his own PSF branch there. With Master Repackager, we tried to help this a bit, and what we came up was that when you do the repackaging with Master Repackager, there is an option to validate MSIX compatibility. We use this list of all the limitations that are known and try to point you what kind of limitation could be in your package, so you basically not wasting your time. However, funny thing, you see, when we show exactly where this limitation is in the package, we try to point you to the URL or the source where you can read more about this limitation or how to fix this. But you see where we're pointing this? To Microsoft Tech community, not the Microsoft documentation, because some of these limitations are known and are written in Microsoft Tech community, but not in Microsoft documentation. So why? And we tried to, we created even a bug fix, issue for them to update them, and pointed to our findings with all the URLs. But right now, we haven't seen any that this has been updated. And the biggest downside right now with MSIX is in testing time. And this, there are only few people I have talked about understand this, what the big issue of this is. And what I mean by that is, when you repackage something to MSIX format, there is only 2 options how you can be 100% sure that your application behaves exactly how it should be. The first option would be you know the application inside out. and only vendors themselves could know that. Application packagers, it would be hard for them to know that. And plus, you need to know all the MSIX limitations. But I'm right now not convinced that even we know all the limitations out there. The second option would be to test all the functionality of the application. And usually, I have a large experience in application packaging, and how I usually do the application testing when I repackage something. I go through the main application functionality, some settings, but I'm not clicking all the buttons and seeing if everything works, because I know from experience when it's repackaged in MSI, there are only a few spots that I can miss, but if the file is in that right place, then that functionality will work. With MSIX, it's not the case. And here's one example. We saw this as an example showing social media, how people show how Notepad++ works in MSIX. But what we saw sometimes they missed was one of the main functionality of Notepad++. When you repackage it to MSIX, it works. But how people actually use this software? Right-click on the file and open it. And context menu doesn't appear there. There is a fix for that available in Windows Insider build right now, but then again, it's not available for Windows 10 and 11 public versions. Okay, maybe MSIX benefits will outweigh the limitations. And Microsoft states that reliability, network bandwidth, and disk optimization would be like an incentive, a benefit to move from MSI to MSIX. And it's really outstanding when we compare with Win32 applications. However, I talked with, as well, preparing for this presentation, I talked with a few of our customers, large enterprises, and their deployment experts. And I asked them, do you have a real problem with MSI reliability? And the answer was really no. Only time the MSI failed was when the end computer was shut down, and that's really not a failure. So if the MSI is packaged correctly, or the package is packaged correctly, it doesn't really fail. Disk optimization as well, they said that they have just upgraded their computers, disk is cheap, they have all the terabytes of disk space, they don't see any issues there. However, if we can deliver application packages that are improving network bandwidth and disk space, that's good, of course, but yeah. Then we go about Microsoft Store support. They just recently announced that Win32 applications are available to be pushed in Microsoft Store. Also, Microsoft Master Packager MSI is available in Microsoft Store. So for MSI, you would need your own certificate. For MSIX, Microsoft would take care of it. So it's better, but it's not like real huge benefit. Clean uninstalls. Again, Microsoft MSIX do it really outstanding. For what is installed, everything is uninstalled. With MSIs, myself, when creating an application package, we made sure in the testing process everything that is installed getting uninstalled. And there are a few spots how to improve it. You have to create some custom scripts. But if you really want to work that everything is installed, what is installed gets uninstalled, you can actually get this done with MSI as well. Just it takes more work maybe. Customization during deployments for MSI, it's really outstanding. You can use properties during and pass parameters during the deployment itself. For MSIX, you have these modification packages, but you have to create them, and you cannot do the same easy deployment as you would do for MSI. Security, same. For MSIX, you cannot deliver unsigned package that increase security, but for MSI, although you can deliver something unassigned, without code signing, it's still possible and preferred, so you can get the security in MSI as well, especially if you do and create these MSIs with best practices. Windows 11 context menu, yeah, with MSI only, you can get this with MSI. It's not possible, but using Microsoft PowerToys experience and as well WinRAR, I believe, doing the same thing, you can get this going. So we ask ourselves, should we deliver master packager as MSIX? And this is real thought process of ISV ourselves. We repackage it to MSIX format and starting testing out. And again, everything looked fine. We have the drag and drop function, works perfectly. Main functionalities work. But then when we go deeper inside the functionality, we have these automation possibilities to create your custom templates. And one of the templates just didn't work. And we really see no visible reason why it didn't work. It just doesn't work in MSIX. Same goes for like smaller thing, but still about window background was completely damaged. Why? No clear clue there. Some files couldn't be written as well in installation directory, what we previously designed to be like that. So we may look into this and try to figure out how to fix this, but then again, master packager is in the store, it's fairly small, it's secure, created best Microsoft practices, it's signed, so, and Windows 11 in next version, we probably do what Microsoft PowerToys did and have you the convenient context menu on Windows 11 if you're using that. That concludes that only fraction apps is right now available as MSIX, and mostly of them are the simplest ones. And my belief it is because of the limitations of this new technology. PSF can't fix all the problems, and it's really long testing when you want to try it out. And vendors, yeah, using these custom scripts. So my next question would be, how did we get here? Try to understand how did we get here and how this could be successful, the MSIX. And we should look on the history of application installations in Windows operating system. We know that MSI is stable, but latest updates, they were only in 2009. For example, FV, we already know the end of life date, and then there was created AppManagEvent. And AppManagEvent was created as application installer for consumers, and it was missing these enterprise features for customization. So Microsoft did something outstanding to their marketing. And this was when they released MSIX, they show that MSIX is actually AppManagEvent plus MSI. And we really know that this is not true. But this marketing, and even for me, even me started to think that this may be the way to go and we can forget about MSI. But this was just cool marketing trick. Actually, it's rebranding. MSIX is rebranding from AppManagEvent and nothing more. As well, we saw these compelling visuals I showed you earlier. But when I investigated all this situation, Now I start thinking, maybe this is meant to be that these are different ways how vendors should install MSIX, not the best features, as they are using setup.exe and MSI to install MSIX. So, okay, let's look on MSIX development from Microsoft team. For past year, few improvements, nothing huge there. But the biggest issue, at least for me, would be the poor communication. Just look at this idea statuses of what Microsofts are working on. There is this status working on, and this issue, I think I have been seeing this for a year or more, so it's not moving anywhere, and I don't know if this is really up to date or not. I guess it's not, but we really don't see on what they are working and what is next. As I mentioned, not all limitations are listed in one place, easily to see, to understand if you have any possibility to stuck somewhere. That's for IT pros and for developers. And no vision or strategy or roadmap. And actually, Microsoft know how to do it right. Like, just take an example on PowerToys. PowerToys, when you go to PowerToys GitHub, you can see the vision of that software. You can see the roadmap of it. So you can, Microsoft know how to build the software, but for some reason, for MSIX, it's not working right now. Another example is our release notes. Again, example to PowerToys. They have, when it was released, what was created, and more importantly, why it was created, as well the history. For MSIX, this is latest screenshot, fixed a UI bug. Okay, what, why? I really want to know this and understand if this now will help me to convert some of new applications there. So it all starts to think me that we are stuck with MSI. And it's because of limitations, small benefits to move to MSIX, larger efforts to vendors to convert the code to support MSIX. And Microsoft themselves actually is not giving us a good example when it takes to their own software. We only see some really, really simple software from Microsoft delivered as MSIX, just files. So no Microsoft Office, and we are not talking even about Visual Studio. So it's unknown future for MSIX as well, as we haven't heard from them directly due to poor communication. But let's not be so pessimistic. Let's think about how we can think of different ways how MSIX could be and succeed. To do that, I wanted to understand why we even have MSIX. Why did Microsoft build MSIX? And they stated in 2018 that it is because they want for enterprise to move to modern IT and break chain of repackaging. So you don't have to repackage something every time vendors release new versions. Okay, but then I started thinking, who is the target audience for MSIX then? Vendors or packagers? From Microsoft, they see it like this. This is again screenshot from Microsoft presentation from 2018. And what they are showing that developers should create an app that is in MSIX packaging format, but as well IT Pro should use MSIX tools and configure and create these, I guess, modification packages. So really, I don't see from this picture how MSIX could break chain of repackaging if IT Pro still need to package something and do things. To understand how to break this chain, again, small reminder, you all know this. So the most important thing is to understand what enterprise needs from from vendors, and this is customization. You really want, as an IT pro, that you can get the application and customize it really easily. Turn off updates if you want, add license, turn off first pop-up runs. All that without really repackaging or thinking where this vendor may store these settings somewhere, I don't know where. And how usually we are doing things then? Developers are creating the app, we are creating the package, MST, repackaging something, creating our own scripts. Then, of course, as we modify this application, we have to test it ourselves, end users, and then deploy it. However, to break the chain, it should happen in the source where it's all coming from. And this is developers. Developers should be able to create an application that is customizable. So IT Pro only pass parameters, add these licenses, and turn off some settings without packaging. So if it doesn't change in developer side, then we really I don't see how we can break the chain of repackaging. So I see that MSIX, to succeed, they really need to focus on developers, not the packagers, at least right now. And enable IT to actually configure package, not package. And transparent development from Microsoft really would help them, as we would know what they are trying to do, and we could suggest how to continue. The way I see it, MSIX should be focused on new app developers, new ISVs who just right now sitting at their desks and thinking in which language and which format to code and deliver their applications, and then understand why they are not choosing MSIX and choosing different format. From there, they could understand where to focus first. Then they should focus on their own existing application, show that this is really worth the time and benefits. And only then we should focus on repackaging and converting existing ISV applications. Because if we are doing it right now, you saw my previous slides, it takes just too much time, and I don't know if it is worth it. So from Microsoft, we want that they list all the limitations. I know I repeated this like 105 times, but this is really needed to know in one place all these limitations. Then work one by one and fix them. Take which one you really can fix it right now and fix it. With each limitation fixed, we can get new MSIX packages into the Microsoft Store on our environments. I haven't told you this, but there is another issue for vendors, and it's related to code signing. As you have to sign your package which you want to deliver, not from Microsoft Store, for example, you have to sign it, but this code signing certificate is only valid for a few years, and then you have to renew it. What happens right now is that when I, as a software vendor, deliver my application to you with my first code signing certificate, and then the next version is with the renewed one, in order for me to get this good upgrade mechanism, end user have to uninstall previous version, and then only they can install the new one with the new updated code signing certificate. And that's really a big problem. I want, as an ISV, as a software developer, I want seamless experience in upgrade for the end users. So this is one of the showstoppers, at least for us as well, to move to MSIX format. Microsoft says that they have fixed this on Windows 11, but again, I'm delivering software for you that you are using, who are using Windows 10 as well. So it really doesn't work for me. parameters to pass command line, to pass properties similarly like MSIs, it would be really good if MSIX would have the same compatibility. Then it would remove the need for some packages to really be repackaged. And again, we need to educate developers how enterprise what enterprise really need. Microsoft should do that. And actually that's the one of the reasons we need to do so much packaging and repackaging, because developers are not educated. They don't know how to do it. And even when they know how to do it, they really, really don't like creating application installers. At least the developers I have talked, they really love to create their own application. But when it comes to ways how to create installers, they really don't want to do it. And especially if you have to use PSF framework and do some other stuff and read more documentation. Full stop, they don't want to do this. So it will not change. My final thoughts is transparency is the key. Just be transparent. The more transparent you are, the easier it is for community to help everyone. As well, right now MSI limitations outweigh the benefits, at least what we can see from our own experience and working with hundreds of our customers. And without focusing on developers, it will not be possible to break chain of repackaging. So if we are not seeing this soon, we will still do the packaging as we are doing today. Thank you.